going to the gambling casino. Never gamble at a casino. The only people who make money in a casino are the owners. But they'll give you some deals. If they'll give you free chips, they'll give you some first ace in blackjack. Use them. Win, walk away. If you lose, walk away. Don't stay. Whatever you do, if you do, make sure you unbutton your shirt because you're going to be shedding it shortly. All right. What? I'm finished. I'm finished. They say there is no more time left. All right, I'm sorry about that, guys. The news, unfortunately, just comes to a screeching halt when they tell me my time is up because I got to have some time for Nancy Bargar. All right, I'm going to give you a brief public service announcement, and then we'll have the geezer. He shoots from the hip, Mort Flexer. Here you go. For you. Enough of that.
Alzheimer's disease, if left unchecked, will strike millions, including baby boomers, their children, and grandchildren in the coming years. As a scientist studying Alzheimer's disease for the American Health Assistance Foundation, I'm well aware that continued research is our only hope for finding a cure. Call 1-800-437-2423 or visit ahaf.org for free publications on Alzheimer's. Learn what you can do to help battle this deadly disease.
All right, watch those deadly diseases. Here he is, Mort Flexer. Good morning, Mort.
Good morning, Reed. Good morning, Nancy, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nancy, what in the world are you doing in politics? I'm sorry, but the politicians I see nowadays just don't inspire me to do much other than commit suicide. Really, when I think back to my childhood, I don't have to go back that far, but it wasn't that long ago when I just burst with pride at being an American. But lately, you look at some of the people in our Congress and in other areas of government, and they are not inspiring. They're not giving us a heck of a lot to be proud of. And thinking of that, I take back what I said to you, because I know I will be proud when you are elected. But again, by and large, politics has just changed so much since I was a young man. I'm willing to concede I wasn't as knowledgeable then. Maybe I didn't see some of the evil that existed. But today, well, I'm looking forward to your being in office, Nancy. And then maybe I will get back some of my positive feelings. Reed, thank you for the opportunity to get that out of my system.
Thank you, Mort. Well said. We have a good assemblyman now who's leaving, my cousin, and we have a good person in Nancy. Or Kathy Young is really doing a job in the Senate. I mean, she's brought a lot of dough in here. Unfortunately, now she's been cut off because the swing. I don't know what happened nobody knows what's going on in the Senate. Nobody knows who's running it.
Well, what's so interesting is when I was running for the state Senate, it was considered the higher house, the upper house of the New York State Legislature, and the way the behavior has gone in the state Senate, it's hard to tell the difference. They used to say the rowdiness was more apt to be in the Assembly. Is my mic not on? Is that what you're saying?
Not working.
It's not working? Is it working?
Oh, it fell off.
It fell off?
Oh, okay.
Oh boy. We're gonna have to go off screen because it's threaded through my shirt here.
Well, come on. Don't be so shy.
Can you focus on me for a second and then we'll come
Focus
back
on
to
me. She's got to dig in there. There you go. Now put it back quick. We have, okay, there you go. Yeah, no wonder it was making so much noise. It was just really loud. Let me put it on first so that it doesn't mess up here.
There, is that all right?
You got it? That looks pretty good to me. Okay. All right, there you go. Back to Nancy Bargar here.
Well, we were just talking about the New York State Legislature. You talked a lot about reform, and I think it's very exciting to have an open seat in the legislature because for years there was no incentive to run in New York State, the rate of incumbency,
they
incumbents
fi-
coming back.
They fixed it. They fixed it.
Well, the thing is, the voters are supposed to choose their legislators, but the legislators really aren't supposed to choose the voters. And that's what's been going on in New York State. It happens in other states too. They draw the lines after a census. We've just had a census. You're going to have redistricting. The lines are always drawn by the legislators themselves, and they get to choose who's in their district. They choose the people who they think will vote for them. I have just signed on with an organization started by several people, including a former mayor of New York City, who is
Who's that?
asking, Ed Koch,
Koch.
asking people who are incumbents, who are challengers, who are wanting to be there. Most of the Senate has signed it. I think about half the Assembly has signed it. That they will sign 3 pledges. And one of the pledges is to have an independent commission draw the redistricting lines going forward. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to...
Well, one of the redistricting things that does make sense is we were just cut out of Congress forever. They redistricted us out of the rural area.
Conventional
county,
wisdom is...
right into Buffalo, where there are 2 million people versus 130,000 people in Chautauqua County. So the chances of somebody getting a nomination for our congressional seat are the same as a snowball in hell.
Exactly. The conventional wisdom is we will never have another congressperson from Chautauqua County.
And why did we let them get away with that? Who did that? Well, they said the vice president
Had a hand
Cheney
in it.
had something to do with
hand
it. But I just can't understand how we let them get away with that.
Well, but you're talking about reform in healthcare, all kinds of reforms. I mean, I think you have to put things in writing and say you're going to change things, and you're not going to be the same old business as usual. And as I said, I signed these 3 pledges.
Okay, I cut you off. What the first pledge is?
Well, one deals with budgeting, being way more transparent on budgeting. And the third one is the redistricting. And the second one, I can't remember exactly the wording, but
Probably not
there are
important,
3. Well, they are important because it's something that past legislatures haven't been willing to do. And you talk about additional spending and the late budget. It's an election year, so you've got everybody in the New York State legislature on both sides or both houses, the Senate and the Assembly, running. So they don't want to be the ones to make the
Are
cuts.
all senators running?
All senators are running.
Okay.
All state senators,
So
all state assembly
we have a
people.
chance to throw everybody out, just like in
You do have that
Congress.
chance. You have
and,
that chance.
and let God sort them out.
You have that chance.
Okay. Well,
I was trying to figure out what you were going to... I thought you were going to go for 9 lives with this. I didn't see the eating cat food. I was trying to...
Yeah, that's cat food.
We're in bad times. I hope we don't get to that point.
Well,
Reed.
I'll tell you, if seniors who have lost 50% of their purchasing dollar now since 2002, and now are receiving no COLA for the next 2 years, which was always promised us when we put up a lot of our money for Social Security, we are screwed. If you're going to get 80% taken out of your dollar, you ain't going to have nothing left. You look in the houses for sale section of the newspaper. It used to be a quarter of a page. It's now 3 pages. Half of them are seniors who can't afford their houses.
And instead of complaining, don't we want to have action? We want to do something different.
Action!
And one of the things is, I wanted to say that I am totally honored to be the second guest you've had in your new studio.
Congratulations.
It's absolutely gorgeous, and I love the flooring. If you've talked about this before, but it almost resembles rulers.
Yeah,
Exactly. It looks just like the size of a ruler.
Well, this is the most modern, state-of-the-art. We have, these lights are special lights. They're digital lights. In the state of New York, and it's the largest access, we're talking about access studios, in the entire state of New York. And I want to thank Chuck Kelsey and Devin Taylor and the villages of Mayville and Chautauqua and the local people here who have really supported this sort of programming. And we do wonderful programming. We're all over Chautauqua County, as you know. This program is being watched live over most of the North Chautauqua. And it'll be, I'm sure you'll drop off a tape at the Access down in Jamestown, and they will be very happy to run it again. If we run you, we'll have to run the Nazis. That's what they used to say.
But the floor in the dimensions of the school ruler it must have been intentional that they wanted it to look like in a school look like a ruler.
They probably had tons of old rulers.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's the answer.
Well, you should take a look at this floor. This was marbleized.
I see it.
Isn't that fantastic?
Low maintenance. It's beautiful.
And this room is as big as a football field, just about. It's huge. Nancy Bargar, running for Congress. Well, that's next, right? Running for our New York State Assembly, and we will not. This is not a political broadcast, so we will not be dwelling on how she's getting a flailing by her opponent. Andy Gutel.
Well, you want to talk about reform now, and I want to bring my visual.
I didn't mention Andy. He has sued you. There was some kind of lawsuit having to do with I'm not saying Andy's wrong, but you're getting a lot of flack.
But the court, in the lower court here in Chautauqua County, here in Mayville, on Tuesday, August 3rd, decided to dismiss the suit.
They threw it out.
It was to take me off the Independence Party line. That same day, Reed, the exact same day as this court case was dismissed, my domain name, which today when you run campaigns, you're running them with 21st century technology, which is largely computer. I mean, lots of people work too, but you have to get on the computer, whether it's Facebook, creating some presence on the computer. So we went to set up a website, and lo and behold, my domain name, nancybargar.com, was registered to Andy Goodell.
So you couldn't use it.
I've got the visual here blown up to show you that it was registered at his law office, his address, with his email address. Very clearly, it's public information.
Sure, well, that's pretty clever. I must say,
well, why do you do that, though? Why, it's underhanded. It's not taking the high road.
You can't use it
He's
now.
offered yesterday, he said he was unaware of this. He doesn't know how it happened, but he's an attorney, and I am sure he could find out who paid for it. It had to be paid for by somebody. And if he is not aware of who took care of this and did it for him, it's wire fraud. It's plain and simply, it's wire fraud.
Well, I'm sure Andy's going to come on and want to discuss this too. But at any rate,
I hope it's probably an overzealous fan of his, but
I'm sure
whatever it is,
Andy would never stoop to that level.
It needs to be exposed. It's a dirty trick. It's not what we expect. It's not what the kind of people you want to send to Albany are. Not people who are going to do more of this kind of.
Right. I'm sure this was some sneaky guy who thought he was doing Andy a favor, who obviously has damaged him probably. But at any rate, we got two good people running here, you and Andy, and I know you'll probably win though, because you're far more beautiful. I mean, he's such an ugly old thing, you know. Both of you have a lot of experience in the county. You were a county legislator how many years?
10.
10 long years.
We were there simultaneously for a while.
He was there for a while, then he was jumped up to county exec.
No, he was never a legislator. He was never in the county legislature.
Never in the legislature. He just became the exec.
He was elected until 1997. I was the minority leader, and then the majority leader. But we worked together around the same time. Okay,
well, of course, I had both of you on during this period, and you were very generous with your time. I saw a lot of you, and I appreciate that. We've got Fred Crosscut now coming on all the time. He's terrific. You know, he's just an old farmer raising cows up on the hill. He don't know nothing.
Yeah, right, right. Now, Fred and I worked very hard together on several things, and you're right, he's very accessible to the media.
He is.
Which I appreciate. As you know, I just finished, when I became a candidate, I was not able to continue in the role of my own talk show and hosting that, but he was very eager to be accessible, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, why can't you still be on your own talk show?
There's an equal time issue when you're the host.
Well, you know.
You can be the guest, but you can't be the host.
Okay, well.
According to the FCC.
I see. Well, you know, the FCC used to forbid you to run a person who's running for office with, I think it was 2 months or at least a month ahead of the election.
Right, it's equal time because if I was on.
You can do that now. They did away with equal time. They don't care. I can run you right up the day before the election now. How's that for an invitation? It doesn't apply to access, so we can do whatever we feel like. I don't think it applies to regular anymore.
Oh, that's interesting.
I used to run it, and I automatically, because I felt it was unfair, and a lot of people do, I would not run a candidate up to, I still use the old 30-day limit. And because I found out, first of all, people who run a show like I do, around election time, they get zillions of calls from people who are running for office who want to come on the show. And if I let somebody on the show within that 30-day period, then the one running for Congress is always going to want to be on the show. The one running